Hello, Internet.
We are.
Here we are. Me and Luke, not Joe. Joe's busy. Joe's not here. So, Joe, leave us alone. We're doing this ourselves. Sorry, Joe.
We're on an adventure.
And Morton
Just
Joe
the two of us
is not here. We're here to talk about Mad Max Fury Road. Spoiler. This is a SpoilerCast. So if you have not seen it, you probably just shouldn't watch this or listen to this or whatever.
Or just go watch it right now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Just go ahead and watch that.
What are you doing?
I'll give that away from the spoiler. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Go watch it and then come back and listen. Go ahead.
It's worth a watch.
It's worth a watch. You know just that much from the beginning of this movie. We saw this, Luke. We saw this Friday night. I haven't seen it together,
hand in hand
in the theater, holding our hands up high, ready for the movie.
Not quite.
All right, maybe not. But we haven't seen a movie on like a Friday. I feel like in a while.
It's in our hometown,
especially not in our hometown. Jeez, our theaters are so small and so quiet.
They're pretty bad.
Yeah, we go usually to IMAX, but which I really wish we were able to do with this movie, because this is an IMAX movie. It's a big movie with a lot of visuals, a lot of sound.
It'd be a lot of fun in the IMAX.
And we tried.
For sure.
We tried. I mean, we usually go to Ocala IMAX, but there were all the IMAXs around were playing Avengers still. So,
is it even in IMAX? I thought it wasn't even in IMAX.
Maybe it's not.
We should have answered that before we went on air.
Maybe. Who cares? Whatever.
I don't think it's on IMAX, but don't hold us to that.
But yeah, it should have been bigger. It should have been louder. But let's talk about what we thought of the movie. Luke, you can go ahead and go first. What did you think of the movie? What did you think of Mad Max Fury Road?
I guess I had forgotten how ridiculous George Miller movies can be. And, I laughed at Joe. If you listen to our last show, Joe kind of prefaced us going to see this movie with George Miller's maybe literally insane. And I've got to say, I think he might be right about that. There were so many moments in this movie where it was just like, what? Like full shaking the head, full like, what is going on right now? And I mean, not really in a bad way. I mean, I don't know if it was in a good way so much, but it was somewhere in between where it was like, this is interesting, but so over the top. It was just, so I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was definitely a little over the top for me. Yeah, it was. Did you feel like it was hard to connect because like so often you were just like distracted by the strangeness of it, so you couldn't quite get into the world because it was just maybe.
Yeah, that's understandable. I feel like the one thing this movie does, which is a compliment, I think it's a compliment that's rare for me to give, that when you watch the trailer for this movie, it's a piece of really good advertisement, because if you can honestly say that if you've watched the trailer and you like that trailer, you'll like this movie. Yeah, I really think that. I think the feel and the style of that trailer matches.
If it leaves you wanting more of that,
yeah, you'll get
some more of that.
You definitely get it. I'll go ahead and I like this movie quite a bit. I really, really liked it. When it comes out on Blu-ray, I'll definitely grab it. I'm not sure if I'll see it again in the theaters, unless an IMAX opens up. If I see an IMAX open up and play this movie, I'll probably see it, because I think this movie should be viewed in IMAX. It's just gorgeous. Like, I think the movie is really beautiful to behold, I think.
Honestly, I have to say, I think IMAX ruins you for normal movies.
It does.
I really do. I can remember, like, especially the Avengers. It was really bad. I went and saw it in the normal theater, and I was just so disappointed. Like, throughout the movie, I'm thinking, like, man, this was just so much better the night before when I got that full sound, bigger screen, and the crowd. I mean, that's another thing. But
yeah.
But I mean, this movie, it's another one of those things. I was thinking back on how much better, like, especially the sound. I think that's something Joe had mentioned before. Like, the sound really does make a difference. You may not think about it as much, but once you have that better experience, going to that lesser experience, it's like, man, I do miss that. Like, it's not booming. The bass isn't enough to where it's like you can feel it. It's like,
yeah.
And this movie's the epitome of that. I mean, like you've been saying, it's the epitome of where that would be a benefit. So many explosions and, engines, and
the whole movie is a chase scene. Basically, the whole movie is an action scene with a few breaks. I feel like just there's a few like maybe not even 10-minute breaks. How long do you think? I feel like the breaks of talking are like around the same time. Like it's either no longer than like 10 minutes or something even less than that. It's like 5 minutes of talking, action. And then there'll be like 30 minutes of action, maybe something like that. This is rough. And then 5 minutes of talking, but it won't be longer than that. There's no long breaks of talking for sure. So
I'll take this chance to point out something I noticed about the movie. And obviously everyone else noticed it in the theaters. It was, and this may just be a George Miller thing that, you know, I'm not a big George Miller fan. So I don't know like his movies and, you know, I haven't followed him much. And there's a way this movie is cut to where it's and then it's okay. You know, it fades to black and then there's like nothing, you know, like the next scene will come up and it'll be nothing like, you know, eye-catching. It'll be, you know, someone in the sand screaming, or it'll be someone walking up. It'll be something really slow. And then it'll kind of build. The scene will build, and then it'll get to that what and whatever the big thing that was building to will happen, and then it'll fade to black. And then it'll be like it's just a cycle. I guess it's a George Miller thing.
It gives the audience time to say, huh, which the audience did, literally.
That one guy.
A couple times guy was like, whew, like after that sandstorm scene. It was just, which was,
that
I think,
first
deserved.
Massive scene. It was
massive scene. We're just nonstop things going wrong.
Basically the intro to the movie.
Yeah.
First 15 minutes.
Yeah, I would say that's like the big opening intro to the movie to kind of get the plot going, which, you know, there's not a huge plot to this. It's really simple. It's probably the quickest.
Well, we can say what we're talking about. This is SpoilerCast.
Yeah, absolutely. The plot.
Where they take the truck out.
Yeah. It sets up the plot though, because it's like so quick. All you need to know about this movie, like the entire plot is Mad Max is a survivor, gets captured by these people called the War Boys, led by Immortan Joe, and there's this Charlize Theron character, Furiosa, who's
kind of her general, or his general.
Yeah, really, and she was taken from her homeland as a kid, and now she's on this mission to get all these impregnated kind of like sex slaves away from this the War Boys and Immortan Joe.
Birthers.
His wives is what the refers to them. And it's her mission to get these girls away and get them home. And so it's their mission to do that. And they figure out that they can't do that. So they have to go back and take over. It was the, what was the name of Immortan Joe's? The Syndicate? No, am I thinking of all the other stuff we've been talking about on the podcast, meaning Assassin's Creed and Mission Impossible?
Oh, geez.
The Citadel. It just came to me, and so basically they have to go back to there, and that's it. There's like, you know, a little like nuance in there. You know, you can talk about Nux. It's Nicholas Holt's character, which I actually like that character a little bit. Everyone is like, I feel like it sets up a world where like no one has that much to live for, so little that they do have to live for, live all out for. And so like these War Boys are like, it's almost like this weird like religion that they have, like this archaic, like almost like Viking like religion where they talk about Valhalla. What's the thing they quote again and again? We die, we live, we die, we live again, or something like that. And so like their whole thing is like everyone's dying in this world of like radiation poisoning, especially like Nux, who they say he has a half-life, and so he's like super ready to die. And like, I don't know, I felt like I actually thought that he was the most interesting character. I didn't have a lot invested in him. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I didn't have a lot invested in anyone really, because it just doesn't focus that much on anyone character-wise, but I honestly feel like that didn't hurt the movie too much for me, because it was more of a roller coaster ride, more of an experience than a character piece. And so, yeah.
That's an interesting point. I'd have to say, I don't think there was anyone that I was like, man, I hope they make it out of this alive. Man, I hope they do well. Like, I mean, I didn't really want Max to die, and I didn't want Charlize Theron's character to die, but I didn't care that much. You know what I mean? Like,
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
I was kind of split on whether I liked them or I thought that they were kind of ridiculous themselves. Because Max, I liked Max. I liked Tom Hardy, the way he played him, but I wasn't cheering for him so much. It was just kind of like he's the guy we're following and telling the story through basically the back of his head, most of the time.
Did that for you? Did that like take away from the like the tensity of the action? Because usually like a lot of action scenes are tense because you care about the characters and because you're like scared or whatever for what will happen to them. I didn't really have that as much with this one. For some reason, I still felt tense during a lot of the action. There were still moments in the theater where I was like, oh, or oh, whoa, because like
it was. I had this weird feeling of like I almost connected it with like myself if I was there. It was almost like I'm nervous for these people because all these people are coming down. Like the one part where they're going like through the canyon, they're just getting to the canyon, and you see to the right, a new group coming in, to the left, a new group, and of course the group that's been following them, Joe's group behind them. And it's like, oh my, what's going to happen when these all collide and they're stuck in the canyon? It was almost like I'm scared because if I was in this situation, that would be terrible. It was kind of weird to me because usually, like you said, it's usually, oh man, Max, he's got to make it out. He's he has this noble quest. And it was like, no, he really just has these visions of children that apparently have died and he didn't protect is what I got from it. And it was kind of like, well, what now? Like those people are dead. What can he really do? I guess obviously what he was trying to do is help people who were still alive, like these ladies. But it didn't feel like he had a lot to head towards, like not some wife to save or someone, bring to freedom other than them. And I don't even know, like even throughout the movie, I didn't even get that feeling that he cared that much about them. It was just kind of like, well, it kind of helps me. You're here. I'll help. It's something to do.
I think that's pretty much right until like the end, up until like the last like 20 minutes. I think that's exactly what it was. It stated clear in the beginning. It's like, what I've become is just a survivor. Like I am just a survivor. He's very like gray. He's not going to go out of his way to hurt anyone, but he's not going to go out of his way to save anyone really. And so he's in it for himself, and maybe until the bitter end. Like I think everything up until that point where he turns around and says like, "There's nothing there but salt, and we're going to have to do this. Maybe hope." I feel like that was like the turning point where he's like, all right, maybe I can get these people out of this. Maybe I can find some hope of my own by doing that. And that's as far as I think we get. Like, and that's fine. I think that's fine. I would honestly like to explore that character a little bit more. I mean, there's not much there, but I'd like a little bit more. I agree with you. I like the way Tom Hardy played him with his really weird accent that he has in this movie. I really enjoyed Charlize Theron's character. She was freaking awesome in this. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is my favorite role I've ever seen her in. I'm not a Charlize Theron fan per se. Like she's really just kind of like a non-issue for me in a movie. She's just.
Did you see Monster?
No, I didn't see Monster.
I didn't either.
Or maybe that would change our minds.
So we can't speak on that role, at least the one she won an Oscar on.
All her action scenes were so believable. Like that's the thing. Like. Well, I think a lot of the action scenes were just great. Not the fact that like, oh, this is realistic, because it's a load of insanity and like they would have died like 2,000 times, all of them in this movie. But like just the way it's done, it made me have like that suspension of disbelief where I wasn't like, oh geez, So I was able to be like, oh, during the action scenes. I think one of the it's kind of what people have been saying about Star Wars. It was so real. Like there wasn't at least very noticeable CG. Yeah, that was one thing. I've got to give it props for that. I thought it looked excellent. Can't be understated how amazing this movie looks, and I think a huge portion of that is because of how much of it is practical.
Yeah, it must be.
A lot of it. That's what they said. Like, I think George Miller said in an interview, like a lot of his CGI went to taking things away other than adding it. Taking things away like wires, Charlize Theron's arm. The biggest, I think, CGI shot.
That looked amazing.
Yeah, look, the arm
I was thinking
awesome.
That when she's screaming in the desert, when she finds out about how the home is, gone, all the ladies are dead. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's CG?
It looked insanely good.
It looked so good. I was like, how is she wearing that? Like,
I don't know.
It just looked amazing.
Yeah, like the CGI was so sparingly done. What it was done looked great. Looked great to me. I think it looked fantastic. I think that adds to the tensity of it. Like a lot of times,
believability.
Like in like a movie like Transformers, Age of Extinction, if like there's a lot of crazy action going on, some of it may be well done, who knows, because like you don't care about the characters and all that's going on the screen isn't really there. So
and when things like that, Transformers, I kind of look for the people's expressions to see like, does it match what's going on? Because I know they don't get to see that. Like, how well are they playing this off?
Yeah, it's bad editing. Just like really not caring about what's going. Yeah, really good. And so like I think a lot of the main stuff to really talk about in this movie is like, there's some character stuff, which I mean I guess we can go ahead and get the character stuff out of the way so we can talk about the action, because that's the big showcase of this movie. What did you think of Nicholas Hoult as Nux?
I liked him.
Yeah,
I mean I think he did a good role. It was I felt my only issue with him, I felt like he kind of changed from someone who was so dedicated to Joe to being a part of the group a little quick. It felt a little too fast, I guess. It seemed like he was such a dedicated guy in the beginning. It was like, I'm hurt, I'm down, I can't go. I don't care, I'm going. Give me that steering wheel, like true dedication to Joe. Like I need to fulfill whatever it is to get to Valhalla, and I will do that because Joe, needs me to. And then to not that long into it, he's hiding up in the top and that girl comes, and like clearly he's made a whole 360 at that point. I felt like, you know what I'm talking about? The conversation they have up at the top of the truck.
What you doing? He's like, I filmed him 3 times now. And she's like, oh, it's all right. Whatever.
I was kind of waiting on him to like stab someone in the back or something.
Yeah.
Like I'm faking this. I've got to get to Valhalla. Like,
but Luke,
didn't happen.
She's a very pretty girl. You see the people in this world, they look horrible.
This is true.
They're like angels compared to all these people in this world. Which is a really funny scene where like Max, after that crazy action scene, he's ready to like approach the tanker and like take care of business. And there they are,
hosing each other.
It gave a laugh to me and everyone in the audience. So it was funny. But yeah, I know what you mean. It was like, it's something I kind of was just like, all right, I'll buy it. And like from then on, I was like, I'm fine with him. I just found him, definitely probably the most interesting, because I think it's like, I don't know, has the most drastic change for sure. And he's the most extreme character, especially at the beginning. He is insane. And like I laughed at that part where he is like, there's this big dramatic part where he's like finally going to impress Immortan Joe. He goes up to his car, he's like, I'll get her for you or whatever. And he's like, all right, you will enter Valhalla, shiny and chrome. And he like sprays the stuff on him, and he immediately messed up. He trips on his chain, and I laughed so hard when I don't know. It was probably my favorite moment from Immortan Joe. He's like, mediocre, and just drives. Great, but for him, it was like the biggest shame of all time. But speaking of Immortan Joe, I honestly don't have too much to say about him. I mean,
he's disgusting.
He's gross.
I have that to say about him.
He's very gross.
He says gross.
I wasn't really ever afraid of him.
He's got the iron lung.
He's so broken down, and like he's like wheezing, and I couldn't help but like kind of laugh at his voice. I like him. I liked him. I think he looked different. He's just like, oh, watch out.
He was a Jabba the Hutt character.
Yeah, kind of like Jabba the Hutt. Like, I wonder like what made him that. I'd like to know that in like dialogue. What made him to be such a crazy godlike leader of these people, and being in control of the water supply that the Citadel had? Like, why him? Like, I know he's like, I guess like he just has a belief to get behind that these guys are crazy and desperate enough to just.
Well, he may have been a different man before that. We don't know.
Which I didn't know. He's the same. I'm going to go ahead and say right now, I have not seen the other Mad Max movies. From what I hear, doesn't matter too much that I haven't. So, but from what I hear, he's a main role in the first Mad Max. Is a different.
And I only saw the second one with Joe, and that's been a while.
Yeah,
I did enjoy it though. I do remember that.
Yeah,
it's definitely movies I'd like to watch again.
Did you see any sort of like tie-in from what you could see?
From what I remember, no.
Yeah,
but that's been a while.
Yeah, everything was kind of really ambiguous. He's guilty about the past. That's all you know. He's guilty. He could have saved more or whatever. You could have saved him. You could have saved this back.
Well, since I saw the second one, I think I may have missed some, story building stuff in the first one.
Yeah, for sure. And what did you think about the people they come across midway through the Fiora's Furiosa? I keep saying Fiora. Furiosa's people. Like, there's a bunch of old ladies,
The ladies.
and they're like really hardcore.
I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about
Are they good guys? Are they good people?
the old ladies.
The old ladies.
I would say of all the people we meet, they would have to be the best.
I feel like it was weird because like it was set up at the beginning. We see that naked lady in the cage. She's like, help, help. And Max is like, it's a trap or whatever. And I was like, really? It was clearly a trap. But who are these people? Is someone gonna? I'll save you, and they don't know them, so they rob them, leave them naked, maybe skin them alive and eat them. I don't know.
Oh my gosh!
Is that was like?
I think it's, from what I remember, it was what, 6, 7 women.
Yeah.
Out in the middle of nowhere. Apparently, well, I have many questions on this. It's like, first of all, why are you still here? If it's not green anymore and there's no water, why are you guys hanging out in the middle of the desert where there's nothing? Mm-hmm. It kind of seemed like, I thought they were going to cross over that hill and we were going to look over and there was going to be something, ruins or something.
Well, they said they passed it actually on the way.
It was
where those creepy.
But why were they hanging out there? I guess was
idea.
My point. It's like the freaking Sahara. Like, there's nothing there. But to what you were saying, I feel like it's 6 or 7 women out in the middle of nowhere. They don't know any better. Like, there's nothing much they can do. Like, they're ladies. If men really were to come up on them and they're to have a fist-to-fist battle, like, they're done. They have no chance. So I think that was kind of the only thing. That's how I felt it was. It was like the only thing we can do is use the most attractive one to bait them, get them into a vulnerable state of, oh, we're going to rape this girl or something, then take advantage of them.
That seems reasonable. Then get the upper hand on whoever it is. Yeah, from that perspective, yeah, it seems smart.
It was kind of the only thing they could do.
Yeah, for sure. And then, give her the little password. And then she does a little Xenon Warrior Princess thing. And they all come out. Good.
Exactly.
They were good from like it's always hard for me when watching a movie and there's scenes where old women die in brutal ways. It just makes me like uncomfortable. I'm just like, because they're like so old and brittle. It's just like, ugh.
They didn't show it either. Like,
no,
I guess really she got shot in the back of the head. She just kind of went, oh.
Oh, I couldn't really tell what happened to her. I wasn't sure if she got like stabbed by something or shot by something. I don't know. And that one other old lady got like, she was like, huh? She got like run over, assumedly, but you don't really see that either. Oh man, getting run over. That's another death I don't like either. And oh my gosh, it's worth talking about. I forgot her name. I think her name is, I don't know. I forgot. She's the chick from Transformers 3.
She's Splendid.
Splendid. It's her name. Okay. She's super pregnant.
Or Rosie is her real name.
Thing worse is someone getting run over, a pregnant woman getting run over. Yeah. Yikes. Really controversial.
Super pregnant.
Scene. She got, and like, am I correct with this? That death was on Mad Max? On Mad Max, like it's his name. Is it on Max's? Is that like his fault? Because she tripped on blood that like that was coming from her leg when he was like firing the warning shot. And it like skidded across her leg.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, and so it's like that's kind of on Max.
Did he drop her?
No, she was hanging on and she slipped on that blood when she was like trying to be like a human shield. She was like shielding everyone with her. So
yeah.
And she was like, look out!
She opened the door and hung out. Yeah.
Ugh, terrible. And he's like holding her like mangled. But I was like, oh, jeez. Terrible. And then the baby's dead, which is also disturbing.
Guy,
he like cuts
hacks her open.
Yeah, it's like,
yep.
I had a brother and he was perfect. Yeah, little cringy.
That freaking huge guy. It was just an idiot.
Rictus, yeah. Rictus Erectus. What a crazy
We're having to read
name.
all these.
These names
impossible
are
to remember.
We're never going to know this. All right, so that's the plot. Let's go ahead and talk about the action. So good. I thought the action was great. One thing I always like about movies like this is when they make the car chase scenes, which is a huge priority, obviously, and it should be in a movie like this, but the hand-to-hand combat is also really good. One of my favorite action scenes is the initial fight scene between Max and Furiosa. I think that was really good and like a lot going on between like her trying to get the gun, him trying to get the gun, good. And the girls trying to pull him off with the chain, and then Nux waking up and becoming part of it. It was just great.
Yeah.
and then trying to use various like weapons around.
Reminds
them.
me of I'm blanking, a Jackie Chan fight scene
Yeah.
where he's got like an umbrella and pulls your shirt over your head, and slips through your legs.
There were some comedic moments during it where like I could hear the audience laugh a bit. And I laughed when she like tries to fire that sawed-off shotgun that like kind of fizzled out, and she like tries to fire it. She's like, "What?" And then tries to hit him with it. It was really good, really good. A lot of just a lot of stuff going on in it. And I really appreciate it.
I liked when he finally got the water and just like, oh.
Heck yeah,
That's exactly what I would be doing.
I survived that insanity.
Fill me.
Which I feel like that scene before it, like how it was, the scene that came before it was obviously amazing with the sandstorm or whatever that insane thing was.
That's the thing on the trailer. It's like, what?
Cars are flying.
And that's exactly what you say when you see the movie. Like, what is going on? This is a tornado sandstorm.
Have to be suicidal to.
Didn't know these existed.
No, I had no idea. With like tornadoes,
not moving to a desert.
Yeah, no, that's there with lightning and all sorts of stuff.
Makes our hurricanes look like jokes.
Yeah, but that was a really good action scene. There are a lot of these scenes I feel like three-way. Like there's a lot of different like people involved. There's like scavengers, right? And the war boys and Furiosa's people and Max. And like it's really cool. Like there's just a lot going on, a lot to look at. And like at that point, Max is the blood bag, right? And he's like stuck on the front of the car, which is a crazy visual, and I like looking at it. Yeah, I just think it looks great. And like how that ends, I think it was probably the best part. How like Nux is like, all right, I'm filling this car with gas. I'm going to Valhalla, and he's like trying to like end it, trying to kill himself, and Max is like stopping him, and it's like so tense, it's getting so close to the gasoline, where it's just like it's really exciting.
Definitely.
Then I have no idea how they survived that after it.
How that car was still running.
Oh my gosh,
makes no sense.
Yeah, and they wake up and like
wasn't the tire flat too, and they're like catching up to the truck. I remember thinking how the heck?
I don't know how that works.
I remember like something happened that like the one of the tires went flat. I'm blanking on it, but then I remember them driving, catching up to the truck, and it's like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I did get confused in the movie where like how close people were and like how they caught up. In ways, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, just sense of place during the action scenes. Sometimes got confused, but I felt like usually we're pretty good. I'm like, oh, we're over here. Oh, never mind. They're that close. I thought they were way back there. Whatever.
And I guess all those groups were blood related to Joe too. He's like saying things to Joe, like the other leaders, brother or cousin, or I can't remember. That was kind of interesting. So I guess Joe's like really over everything in some way. Because originally when I saw the two other groups coming in, I was thinking there was going to be fighting with them, like to get her. But no, when they came together, it was like this whole massive group, trying to catch Max and Furiosa.
I feel like Joe, like, I feel like he had like a thing about like trying to preserve, like get good genes, good blood into like his family, which is not working very well at all for him. He's a mess. He's full of cysts. He has to breathe through some crazy mouthpiece.
I guess his son was at least like 6'5".
Yeah, but his other son was like had feet. He's a little like a midget guy. Had feet going out of his stomach or something.
That was the weirdest thing.
Not working out for him. And like if that guy called him brother or something, he has like elephantitis on his like feet. Was his name like Maneater or something like that? I don't know, but he was gross too.
Yeah,
I think he had lack of a nose. So yeah, it's not going well for anyone. This world is a disaster. I do not want to live there, but I like looking at it. But probably one of my other favorite stunts, which I thought was just really cool to look at, I would have loved to see it in 3D and IMAX, was the motorcycles. I love the motorcycles. How they just like jumped over the carrier, just dropping bombs. I thought that was really cool.
When they're in the canyon.
Yeah.
That's our gas.
Yeah. We had a deal. Really good stunts. I don't know. I just love that visual. We never see them again. They kind of just get thwarted and they're just gone.
And somehow, the biggest mystery of the whole movie, how did they fix that canyon?
Oh yeah,
Why was it wide open? How did they get that stone back up there?
How did they?
That makes no sense. It'd be one thing if it was like the stone was gone and they had just like moved the stones to the side. But no, the freaking ark was back up there. Like,
wow. That is weird.
This is a pretty, and this I would have to say, of being a ridiculous movie, it's a pretty reasonably believable ridiculous movie.
Yeah.
I'd say that was probably the biggest thing, which is a simple, small little thing. It's stupid to complain about, but
oh yeah, that's
it was a silly thing for it to be up there again.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like, there's a lot going on, and like I would love to see this movie again. I'm going to see this movie again. Maybe not in theaters unless it comes to IMAX, but definitely when it comes out on Blu-ray. One thing that really impressed me about the action in this movie, how varied it is. There was not very many times where I like think to myself, "Oh, that again." There's usually like a different aspect that they have during the action scenes, like whether they're being chased through a bog where they're getting stuck constantly, and there's that tension, or the motorcycle stunts,
blind man firing a machine gun at them,
crazy blind man. Well, I like that scene.
I am the Reaper.
I thought that was really cool. And he Mad. I keep trying to call him Mad Max, like it's his name. Like
Mad Max.
It's like when people, like when Free Willy came out, and people just called Willy Free Willy. Oh yeah, I love the part where Free Willy jumps over. No, Max.
Eminem.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But like I love the part where he's like trying to snipe the guy, and he's not quite a good enough shot, and like. And Furiosa doesn't really even say anything, but he knows. It's like they have a really good like rapport together action wise. They like are like they're a really good team. That's why I really like the team up between them. And he's like he gives that look of shame, just give it to her, finish him off. It's a really good scene. Really liked it. Can we talk about the weird guys in the bog real quick? Nothing was said about them. They gave a look of what? Of these weird bird people like pegging around in the swamp with the cloaks on, all creepy like.
That was ridiculous.
Really weird and creepy. Something out of like, I don't know, some like weird 80s fantasy movie like Labyrinth or Dark Crystal. Like that's something
George Miller, he just threw so many things in there. It's just you look at each other like, what is that?
Some weird visual things.
Like things that didn't need to be there at all. Like that ball could have been empty and we would have still liked it. But it's like, I kind of like it because it's just like,
I really do.
What?
It gives you something to look at constantly.
Something to talk about.
My eyes were never really getting bored. Like there was always something to look at that was either awesome to look at or just plain weird or disturbing. I think like we failed to mention one of the stars of the movie. That jackal of a man standing in front of that.
No, I just have been saving my comments.
Let's go ahead and have it out. The guitarist mutant man.
There was a story on Yahoo's front page.
Really?
The night after I got back, went on there and was like, people are talking about the guitar man. It's like, really? People are?
Apparently he's a real guitarist. I mean, obviously he's a real guitarist, but he's like famous in like some country in a band. I don't know who, but whatever. But like, yeah, something so ridiculous.
The Rock Rider Chief.
Wow.
The Winchman. Stephen Dunleavy.
He has two names.
His name is the Rock Rider Chief / the Winchman.
Amazing. It's something that's so ridiculous.
It's
so insane and pointless that it's so over the top that it's just awesome.
It's my favorite part of the movie.
I think I agree.
It is.
It's really ridiculous
it's my favorite part.
But I will never think about that movie and not think about the Rock Rider Chief, the Wrenchman or whatever.
Stephen Dunleavy is the actor's name.
He's a star.
He is now.
He's a star. And like he's impressive. That even when like they're in peril, he just keeps on going. He never stops. Even hilariously,
I love when he's fighting Max, and like the minute Max stops punching on him, absolutely love that.
Amazing, fantastic, and like even when they get stuck and or whatever, he like even stops the music. He's like bow 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 bow. He's like, thank you for matching the mood. I mean, I'm sure Joe really appreciates him for giving him such a place of honor.
I love it when movies implement great music, but give it a reason to be there the scene.
Yeah.
It's like it makes sense that there's a wailing guitar in this scene because there's actually a guy playing guitar.
I would even give it that, like, if he wasn't there, you're right. His presence makes the score better. If he wasn't there, I wouldn't have enjoyed the score as much as I did, which I really did enjoy the score quite a bit. It was a lot of fun, and the score is part of the movie most of the time when he's wailing away during the.
And that's the ominous of them coming. You hear the guitar.
You hear the drums and the guitar. You hear it in the background. You know what's coming.
Here comes Eddie Van Halen in the War Boys.
If there was a prequel comic about his, no, never mind. No, I was about to say I would read it, but you know what? I don't want to. I don't want to know the story behind him. The mystery and the reasons and the lack thereof reasons was what makes that so awesome.
We just want to get pumped. We're going to Valhalla.
It's something so stupid, but yet so awesome and brilliant. Like, I think he knew what he was doing. George Miller knew how great that was when he put it in. Man.
It's something so stupid that I can see, like, if you're in like a boardroom and people are talking about it, like most people are just going to say, what? That is the stupidest idea. And then you put it in and it's like, wow, that actually kind of works. That's kind of awesome.
I really don't want to like tell people that haven't seen the movie about him. It's something that must be experienced and must be found out during the movie and come to the realization that this creature is part of the film that I'm watching.
I'm so glad that wasn't in the trailer.
Oh yeah, it wasn't.
They always give away stuff like that. I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when you come in and you discover something stupid or funny or awesome about a movie, and it's like, wow, I didn't even see that coming.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, so how did you feel about how this movie kind of like wrapped up? I mean, they have this plan. They're going off in two different directions. Max is like, you're giving him a bike, and he's like, all right, I'm out of here, and he stops him. And so, all right, let me get this straight. The plan is the fact that they're all looking for him, and so they think if they just get past them, there's no one guarding the Citadel. But they must think that they have to defeat them, right? Because even if they get back to the Citadel, they're just going to be like, oh, we're here, or whatever, and just get them, like, just right behind them.
That's a good point.
So,
I don't have much to say to that.
So, like, they had to believe that they would have to defeat them because there's nothing else that could have been done. Maybe there was some, I don't know. Yeah, it just didn't seem right. I mean, I guess if they got to the Citadel, because there's a barrier there, there's that like lift that you can't get up without them. If they got up and way ahead of them and took control before they got there, which seems insane to me, especially knowing how things turned out, they'd be able to do it. And probably that's what he had in mind. But yikes, what a plan!
It seemed like no matter how they did it, they had to kill Joe. Like, at some point, they were going to have to kill Joe. And that was the only way that the people were going to follow him or stop fighting.
Because they had like this fear. There's this fear of Joe that was like that. Not only
he was
just
much more than what he was.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's like the people there didn't respect him, but they feared him and they needed the water. So it was like once they showed up with his body, was like the winning stroke. They win.
I think the group was kind of split. It was between like the knaves, I would call them, on the ground, who hated him, but had to have the water. Like they had no choice. And then everyone else who absolutely loved him, like the War Boys, like Nux, who just thought he was this god much more than he was. And there was this illusion of, I'm something that if I even look at you, like you should bow down. Yeah. This, demigod status that was ridiculous, obviously.
I agree. And like the people, like when they do get there, the people who kind of like let them up and like everyone else is stunned, like his son and like the people who are speaking for Moten Joe, I can never say his name right, are kind of like stunned, but the people who actually take action and like lower the lift to get them up are like the people who are getting used by him. Like there's the children and there's the poor human calves, like those women who are just getting milked. It's kind of terrible. Oh, so terrible. But the action scene that got us there was amazing. That action scene, really long, but not just got to the point. I think just there. I think like this is most action scenes where it's like just long enough. It's like a few minutes longer, too long.
Yeah.
But it's like stops right at the right moment, and I think it's really great. Like I feel like I wish there was a little bit more of a showdown between Immortan Joe and Furiosa or Max or whoever it was, but it was kind of just like, we caught up to your car, here you are, you're dead. And, but he wasn't really a physical challenge. I know that he was more of a driver, but like,
I think one of the things about it was one of their goals was not only to kill him, but break down the perception of him that he had built up, like this false wall of, I am this man who controls all these people because I have this whatever, this ness about me that makes me much more than a man. And obviously that wasn't true. He's much less than a man. He's just a disgusting worm. And so it was like, not only are we going to get through all your guards, we're then going to kill you. And then we're going to plop your body right in front of everyone and say, look, this guy was nothing, We need to live like a civilization. And back to what you were saying, I think one of the things with the plan was it was like, look, we have no choice here. We either go out in the desert and we drive for 260 days and we get probably nowhere, or we go to somewhere we know has resources and we take it and we just do what we have to. Some of us will die. Some of us did die. And that's okay, because that's the cost of what it is. These ladies are, as we said, these ladies are out here in the middle of nowhere trying to lure men in with naked women just to protect ourselves. So we have nothing. So the only choice we have is to go and get water and resources, and at all costs. That's just the choice we have here.
I think that is correct, for sure. But yeah, it's like, to quote Whiplash, if you can make gods bleed, the shocks will come. I don't know. But yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Xerxes from 300, But yeah, really great. And this movie makes me think of 300 a lot. I think it's a better movie than 300. I'll go ahead and say that. But like, that final action scene, I feel like one of the highlights of it, those people on the poles.
Yeah.
They were just...
That's what I was going to say. That's one nice thing about the variation action, because they easily could have had that in the earlier scenes.
Yeah.
And they saved that till then as kind of this, oh, here we go. Like, guys on poles.
Such an efficient way to like pick out people and like take them over to other cars. So scary. They come out and just,
here we go.
And then Max gets on one, or Mad Max gets on one.
Eminem,
Free Willy. Really good. How all the old people die, don't they? All of them.
I believe so.
Terrible. Terrible when an old lady dies in a movie. My worst example of an old lady dying. Sorry, spoiler alert for this 90s movie. Dante's Peak. You remember that movie?
I didn't see Dante's Peak.
Oh, there's a scene where like the grandma's like trying to save them, and like they're like, "Oh, don't get in the water." The lava turned this lake into acid, and she like has to push the boat across, like save them, and she like has to get in. She's like, "Yeah."
Oh my god!
I was like, as a kid, I saw this as a young child, and it disturbed me. So
I bet that sounds awful.
It's terrible.
She's burning in an acid lake.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good movie either. But that
the worst death ever.
I'll never forget that part. There was this like a trend in movies in the 90s where people would just melt in a natural disaster. You see Volcano, the fireman as well sacrificing his life to save the other person, freaking melting in lava. All right, anyways, sorry, melting. So Furiosa takes a hit in that. Actually, while she kind of sacrifices herself a little bit for Max, because she's like holding on to him, and there's a guy attacking her. She like won't
uses
let go.
Her own knife against her.
Yeah, that's right. And the one
shifter knife.
Yeah, and she's critically injured, and so it kind of comes back around, like, because the whole thing why Max was a blood bag, because he was a universal donor, and so he was able to do a blood transfusion with her to save her life later on. Now, what did you think of that scene? Did you think she was going to die?
I kind of did.
Yeah,
I was leaning towards thinking that she was going to die, but
it'd be a big loss.
Was that before or after Nux explodes?
She gets
that.
The knife.
That was before, wasn't it?
Yeah, she's able to finish the job and like actually do a lot before she's like incapacitated, and then Nux like does another sacrificial move where he's like, go on, and then like Richter or whatever his name is, like grabs his ninja and he's like, "Ah!" and blows up and like Nux crashes the car to take care of him, and then like pretty much everyone else remaining. He pretty much puts an end to like the rest of the army by like blowing up everything, and then Furiosa does the whole like hooks like Joe's chain into the wheels, like remember me. Is that what she says? Remember me?
Oh yeah.
How that doesn't make sense. Or was it something with like
remember what she said?
Was it a remember me with a period or a question mark? Because a question mark makes more sense. But he obviously remembers. Never
You
mind.
remember me forever.
Which is the next
Which
one
is
second.
exactly the rest of your life.
Brutal death, gets his face torn asunder.
Oh gosh.
Everyone's dead but them. And
I'm
like
glad they didn't show that.
yeah, they cut away. Honestly,
They could have easily shown that. Would have been so gross.
surprisingly, especially because of how disturbed and
The rest of the movie was.
well, and crazy of a world this is. This isn't as hard of an R as I thought it would be. There's not that much gore, even though violent stuff happens all throughout. There's not like no one's intestines are getting ripped off. There's not a lot of like heads popping off. There's not a lot of like crazy nudity or like even any language, to be honest. So it's like it's almost like a 300 light because like 300 had all those things. But like, yeah, I was actually really surprised.
It really wasn't bloody either.
No, there's people like dying and getting like run over and like taken out, but there wasn't a lot of like, oh,
yeah, it easily could have been 300 style. Like,
yeah, I like expected that, like kind of like Dread, how like when someone gets shot, you'll see like blood in slow motion go into your face. But yeah, that was the surprising thing of the movie. So when we see him die, then we get our scene of like Mad Max. I keep doing that of Max trying to save Furiosa's life, and it was a really comforting voice. Did you think that like when he was like, "It's okay, or whatever," and I was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be okay." My name is Max. It's Max.
I feel like his voice is so much like his normal voice. Really,
I have no idea what his normal voice sounds like. I always feel like I'm hearing him do a voice.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd seen an interview with him, but he has a strange voice, anyways.
Okay.
You know? You should see an interview, but he's just got a strange voice, and so I feel like so many of these roles, it's not even that much of a stretch. It's really just him talking with a slight difference, like Bane. Like,
yeah,
honestly, I don't feel like it's that much different. He's just talking with a mask and talking more ominously, like in his normal voice.
Really ominously, yeah. And so we get to our end, which I think was just fine. Like, as I said, the kids let them up, and the calf ladies. That sounds mean, but you know they were being used as calves, like milking
The calf ladies.
whatever. But like they let them up, and they give water to the people, and they rise up. But Max walks away, much like a Western, something like that. I can definitely see like a John Wayne or Clint Eastwood movie as he saved the day. Time to go on to the next town, and they're.
I like the way they did that. I hope that leads into another movie.
And it will.
They've already said that.
We have another movie. Apparently, there's another movie already scripted, and they have a treatment for a third. So they're rolling with this. I think we already have the title too. I believe it's Mad Max Wasteland. So.
Did you see how this movie did?
It did
Box
quite
office?
well. It did not beat Pitch Perfect 2. I did not think it would have because Pitch Perfect's huge, and so it was a sequel everyone was looking forward to.
Appeals to a larger audience.
Yeah, I think it did I think it got the high 40s of 40 million, something like that. It did well. It did, and I think it'll have a lot more legs because of how well it was received.
It's at 45 right now.
All right,
45. That was weekend actually. 45.
45 was weekend.
Sure, it's
okay.
up from that.
Yeah, it did. It did pretty good. Definitely not a bomb. It did well.
It made $4 million today.
Wow.
It's actually higher than Pitch Perfect, so
yeah,
it's doing pretty well.
It's kind of like this is what I think. I think people will get around to seeing.
Wow,
it.
It's up to 60.
Wow. See, there he has been just 20 million in a week, and then the weekend's gonna come and like do even more.
It did higher than Rise of an Empire.
Wow.
300.
Good.
It's up 3 million more than Rise was 6 days into its release.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like people, because like word of mouth is great for this movie. People are high praise, huge reviews, 98% on Rotten Tomato. Critics are loving it. I haven't really heard anything bad about it yet, and I'm not going to start. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah,
Really,
I'm
enjoyed
kind
it.
of surprised how well it's been received. I mean, I enjoyed it,
Mhm.
but before I saw the movie, I don't know. I just didn't expect that.
Yeah, I really don't think there's a lot to dislike, but like if I can imagine someone being like seeing it being like this and like judging it, kind of like
Too weird. I could see that.
yeah, I can see people just being like too weird, don't like it, but I really enjoyed it. I'm kind of with everyone else. I mean, I don't think it's like I'm not. A lot of people have been throwing around best action movie of all time. I'm not going to say that. I think it's very good. Like as
Best
far,
action movie of all time. Wow.
yeah, it's really high praise. But because for me, like a great action movie has like a lot of those like elements that I was missing, like character and stuff. But still really good. One of the better recent ones for sure. Like I think the action's fantastic and visually it's stunning. So you want to go ahead and go on ratings?
Sure.
I will give this movie a solid 8.5. I think it's great. I recommend it for any watch the trailer. It's easy to recommend. Watch the trailer, think that looks cool, watch the movie. Because you'll get more of that, but not like sameness. You'll get like that with a lot
I actually
of
think it
variety.
was better than the trailer.
Better than the trailer
For me at least. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would from the trailer.
Oh wow, cool. And like,
but that's just me.
I actually enjoyed it just as much. So yeah, like I saw the trailer and I was like, that looks awesome, and I saw it.
So you were really excited.
I was excited. You know, I wasn't like going crazy, but like I looking at the trailer, I'm like, that looks awesome. I saw it. That was awesome. So great.
Which doesn't happen a lot, I feel like, with you.
It doesn't. Usually either it'll be better than the trailer or a lot worse.
Yeah.
Usually the latter, because
it's hard for those movies to fall in the middle. It is.
I've been fooled into seeing every Transformers movie and like under the guise of an interesting trailer.
Definitely.
Oh shoot. But yeah, I mean, I'm down to watch the next one. I hope George Miller is going to be back online. What an achievement for a 70-year-old man to go out there and do such a fresh action movie.
Yeah, and one that the critics enjoyed as much as they did
successfully. And like, it's so rare where like this movie's been like they've been trying to make this for ages. It's weird to have like a can that's been kicked down the road for so long when it finally shows up to be something good. Usually it's like when something's delayed and they have so many problems behind the scenes, usually you get a stinker. But
yeah,
amidst all that strife, they've actually pulled out a gem, something really good. I think it is special. Whether or not I think it's the best action movie of all time, which I don't, I think it is special. It gave me something different for sure. So yeah, 8.5. What did you think?
It's always hard to put an individual number, but I'll go with an 8. I thought this was a quality movie. Very weird, very different, an original take on how to tell a story. And from the few movies I've seen that George Miller has done, that's what he does. So, props for him for doing something different, not being, the director that Hollywood wants a lot of the directors to be like, tell stories in a similar way. And so I'll give it props for that. I liked, the originality of it. I thought the action was just a lot of fun. I guess some movies, I think, it's really neat the way they do it, and they may do it in a super believable way, or it's super epic. I would just say that this was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to watch, these hand-to-hand battles, these gunfights, these car chases, the tornadoes. It was a cool setting. So yeah, I'd give it an 8. Good movie, definitely worth a watch. Not something you should see with your children.
That's it. No, it is still rated R. There you go. Yeah, we highly recommend it. We think it's great. So go see it or don't, whatever. Who cares? But anyways, that's our show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. However you're consuming this episode.
Yes, thank you so much.
We have a lot of SpoilerCast to come. This summer's is just getting started.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Are we gonna see Tomorrowland? Are we gonna?
I am.
All right, let's see
Probably
Tomorrowland.
Just see it without you.
No, I'll see it with you. I'll come, whether I'm invited or not. and we'll have something for that probably. And then we have Jurassic World, we have Ant-Man. We have so much to come. So stay tuned. Listen to our other spoiler casts and our regular episodes as we record.
We'll be your guide to the summer.
Our guide to the summer. And I think later on we're going to do a spoiler cast for some of the finales coming up. But until then, we'll see you next time. Check us out. Follow us on Twitter at MTGPod, and on Facebook.com/MTGPodcast, and on Instagram at MTGPodcast. And also subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't done that already. Like our videos. Interact with us in whichever way you'd like.
Watch us live.
Watch us live.
We'll try to give you a warning before we go live.
Yeah, we didn't really warn anyone at this time, but we'll try to do that next time. We've been kind of on a crunch. As you can see, Joe's not here. We've all been kind of busy.
We're going to try to do more live stuff, so keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out. We'd love to interact with you and talk with you guys about these awesome summer stuff that's happening. E3. Oh my gosh, E3 is next month.
We're approaching E3, and we're approaching our year anniversary.
That's right, June.
Which is really exciting.
Really exciting. It's going to be a really special summer, and we can't wait. So you guys have a wonderful week.
Yes. See ya.
See you later. Stop.